Hello guys, how are you? Today I am reviewing the Issi Classic for the Arena Wars DLC in GTA Online. This vehicle costs a total of $360,000 regular price, or you can get it for a trade price of $270,000 if you complete enough arena events. If you take it into the workshop, you do need to pay $1,034,000 to upgrade it to an arena variant. For this vehicle, there does not appear to be any differences between the variants. This vehicle has spikes, similar to the other arena vehicles, and it has two machine guns on the roof, as well as having a very unique weapon, rear mortars in the back. This vehicle also has the ability to carry boost and jump similar to other arena vehicles. It's very small, the smallest car out of all of them in the arena DLC. However though, even though it's very small, it can flip and crash pretty easily. In a speed test, I decided to race the Issi Classic against the ZR380 and the Imperator, and the speed test I managed to take off pretty quickly, but the ZR380 managed to pass me, and eventually the Imperator passes me as well. And even in my second test right here, where I had a 1 second head start, eventually both cars caught up to me. The ZR380 caught up to me first, and then the Imperator eventually caught up to me. So, I mean, this car does have decent speed. It's not like a sports car or anything, but for this type of car, it has pretty good speed, and its handling is pretty good. And because it's a small car, if you took this thing into the arena, it would be pretty difficult for people to hit you. Now, in terms of the scoop on the Issi Classic, I was actually really surprised by it, but the scoop, it's actually pretty good. Sometimes when you hit cars, you'll spin out, but most of the time, when I'm hitting vehicles, even vehicles that are 2 times my size, I have no problem pushing them out of the way, so I do like the scoop on this thing. I think that it's pretty good. The number one thing that surprised me about this vehicle, though, was the fact that it had a rear mortar. And this rear mortar, you fire it with the same button you used to fire the machine guns, and if you hold it down for longer, the shots will go back further. And this rear mortar, it's used mostly to stun other vehicles. You can blow up other vehicles with it, but it's used mostly to stun them. As you guys can see, I'm hitting this NPC truck right here. Eventually, I do blow it up, but these mortars, they're just meant to stun. And I know what some people are thinking, how does this do in the arena? In the arena, it will stun other vehicles that chase you, but it's only limited. A few shots in the arena, and you can't use it anymore. But in free mode, you can use as many as you want. This vehicle also comes with dual machine guns on its roof, and I thought this would originally be good, but because it's on the roof, it's actually pretty hard to aim. If it was on the hood, in my opinion, it would be a lot easier to aim with, and it's pretty easy for enemies to shoot you out. I was having a really hard time actually taking out these enemies here. Eventually, I ended up killing them, and there's no difference between the machine guns because, for the Apocalypse and Nightmare variant, you have the clean and dirty 50 cal machine guns. No difference between them. For the future one, you have the 40-watt plasma turrets, what we call them lasers. They're pretty much the exact same thing, laser turrets. Or you have the clean 50 cal machine guns. There's no difference between them. They're just charging you more for one. Just get the cheaper one, unless you like the cosmetic difference. But what's really bad about this vehicle is that if you try to switch out the turrets, for instance, in the future variant, I want the 40-watt plasma turrets. I already own the 50 cal machine guns. I go and purchase the 40-watt plasma turrets, and then I try to go back to the machine guns. Well, I'm going to have to pay for it again. So you have to pay to switch weapons. Kind of disappointing in that. In a damage resistance test, this vehicle does not have bulletproof windows. Doesn't matter if you shoot them from the front, the side, or the other passenger window, or the back. There's no bulletproof windows on this thing. You can get shot out at any point. And what's really disappointing is that the front window, the passenger front window, it looks like it's bulletproof. Looks like it's bulletproof from here, but you can just easily shoot them out as well. So no bulletproof windows in this car. Little disappointing on that. And lastly, here we have a damage resistance test. This vehicle, similar to all the other arena vehicles, takes 2 RPGs, but I was pretty impressed by that because for such a small vehicle that it can take 2 RPGs, I would say that's a plus in my book. Now, I know what a lot of people are wondering. A lot of people are wondering, well, how does this vehicle actually handle in the arena? In my opinion, using it in many matches, it handles average. It doesn't handle great, but it doesn't handle terribly either. Some good things about this vehicle are that it's a small vehicle, so it's hard for people to hit you. Also, it has rear mortars, which you can use to shake off pursuers, but on the con side there, the rear mortars, they're not unlimited like in free mode. You can only fire a few of them, and then it'll stop firing. You won't have any more to fire. Now, the bad things about this vehicle are, even though it's fast and agile, it can flip very easy in the arena. And the number one thing that has killed me every single time, I actually haven't been blown up once being shot at. The number one thing that has killed me is people smashing into me. People smash into you when you're driving this thing. They can take out huge chunks of your health. They can even one-hit kill you if they're in the right vehicle. I got flipped upside down once, and a monster truck smashed into me, and I got killed in one hit. Now, the machine guns on this thing, you're not really going to kill anybody with the machine guns on this. You could possibly blow up, like, the trucks, the vans, the larger vehicles. You could possibly blow them up, but, like, some of the other vehicles, like the ZR380, the Imperator, and the motorcycle, you're not going to hit with the machine guns, because the machine guns are so tall on this thing, they're on the roof, it's going to be hard to hit anything, so that's a little bit of a disappointment there. This is the kind of vehicle that you're going to want to hit people with when you have an opportunity. It's not the kind of vehicle that you can charge people with, because even if you hit somebody with the front scoop on this thing, even if you have to jump on them, chances are when they're in a larger vehicle than you, you're probably going to flip, and they're not going to flip, and then they're going to have a huge advantage on you, and they're going to kill you. This is the vehicle that you're going to be running away from people mostly with. But hey, if you're playing a game mode where you got to survive pretty long, this vehicle can do the trick. Just be careful not to flip it. And here we come to the pros and the cons. And the pros are, it's decently fast. It's not as fast as the ZR380 and the Imperator, but for a vehicle in this category, a small two-seater car like this has decent speed and decent acceleration. It also has a unique mortar. Now remember, the mortar is used to shake off pursuers. It's used mostly to stun people, make them crash. Not really used to blow them up. It could blow them up if you fired enough, but it's mostly used to stun them, and it's limited in the arena. Make sure you remember that. It has a good front scoop on it. The scoop on this thing, for being such a small car, I was surprised that it can smash vehicles out of the way that are 2 times its size. Sometimes you'll spin out, but most of the time, I had no problem pushing vehicles out of the way. It's small and hard to hit. This goes for free mode and arena. Somebody's trying to blow you up, and you're in this thing, it's going to be really hard unless they're locking onto you. But even if they lock onto you, you could still probably dodge it because it's just such a small vehicle. And it has good armor. For being such a small vehicle, the fact that it can take 2 RPGs, I think that's pretty good. And I put average in arena as yellow because I didn't want to put it as a pro or a con. It's just more neutral. It's not bad, but it's not great in the arena. It's just average. It depends on what you personally make of it. And the cons are, it's very expensive, just like all the other arena vehicles. It's going to be expensive. No bulletproof windows. Little disappointment there. They could have at least given this vehicle bulletproof windows. It can flip easily. It has great agility, great speed, great handling, but, you go too fast in a turn, you hit something, a small little rock, it can flip easily. Not like other vehicles. The ZR380, the Imperator, they don't flip nowhere as easy as this thing. The spikes can kill you, just like in most of the other arena vehicles. You run up to it, the spikes can stab you and kill you. The guns are too high, they're too much on the roof of this thing, so it's going to be hard to hit anything. And you have to pay to switch guns. So if you want to switch between, the plasma turret or the rusty and the clean machine gun, you gotta pay to switch guns. Kind of stupid. A lot of vehicles have had that in the past. It can't be used in heists, just like all the other arena vehicles. And the mortars are limited in the arena. You can only use a certain amount of mortars in the arena. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think down below. If you enjoyed this review, drop a like. If you're new to my channel and enjoy my content, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.